Good morning from Issoudun, where a big group of us have come to do a little bit of brocanting and antiquing, because 14 of us are all staying together at the beautiful Chateau de Colombe. And what else are 14 chatelains going to do when they're together other than come and look for some treasures for their homes? We're starting off at a brocante and we'll move on to an antiques shop afterwards. Let's see if we can find treasures in here. Welcome to the Aladdin's cave that is this brocante. There are so many objects. I don't even think it would be possible to actually look properly at everything here. Cases and cases of cutlery. Oh, let's have a little peek, shall we? Oh, it's not cutlery. What a lovely plate. I wasn't expecting that. Wonders lurking in everything. Hand decorated, it says. Oh my goodness, that's just so pretty. With the matching spoon, my gosh. Ah, Monsieur et Madame Jean-Pascal, Le Chateau. So I presume it was in their home in the chateau. And there's even the cake platter. I think this is exquisite, actually. This is a beautiful book. Fairy Tales from Aulnoy and Anderson. And what I love are the illustrations. Oh, isn't that exquisite? So you see, you find treasures around every corner in here. You've got the hat to match the coat. Can I just say, your coat is amazing.
But I bought it obviously to match this lampshade.
I like these plates as well. Let's see, where are these from? Lorraine, handmade. And they're Gien. And that is such a lovely set, because as well as all of those plates, there are 2 platters.
I've seen some things I like. Pretty sure this is very similar to what we have in the Marquise apartment. I think that's Mason's.
That's very nice. Yes, we got it in green and gold.
Yes, exactly.
That's beautiful.
I quite like that. And the decanters.
They are very nice. Yes, elegant. And it's lovely to have a pair. Are they crystal as well? Yeah, they're very elegant and useful. I love a big glass. Well, I wasn't expecting to find Louis Vuitton and Burberry here. It's really everything. This is a wonderful desk. So useful. You've got so much storage at the top. You can lock your work away when you've finished, making it really tidy, and then the drawers underneath as well. I'm just drawn to go down every single little side alley because you never know what you're going to find. I mean, like a whole suite of wall lights. Can be useful if you have a long corridor. What else have we got around here? Totally different style of wall light there. Oh my goodness, an absolutely terrifying doll. She's absolutely massive. What have you found?
So that's that. And then it opens up.
Oh!
And it's the whole antique
That is
men's
so
grooming
cool.
set.
For €10.
Exactly.
That's unbelievable. And so you've also got a writing. I've never seen one with a writing set as well.
Yeah.
Because that must be what this bit is. Yeah.
Exactly. Apparently belonging.
Didier must have enjoyed it very much.
I think so. He even put his name inside.
You found one that's still got the writing paper in it.
Look at that. Oh, this one's much nicer. It's got the hairbrush. It's got the clothes brush. Actually, I could totally use that. I'm covered in dog.
I hope it wasn't Galahad.
No, it's our dog.
You've been dog-napped, haven't you, darling? Have you found anything?
No, I haven't spotted anything yet.
Oh, pity.
I know.
Anyone got an owl collection out there? This is your Mecca. Or the more affordable version of a classic car. And a lovely big jar for people who really like a lot of cold cream. Philip, I feel like we got more than anyone else because no one else is carrying boxes and boxes. But I am so glad that you got those incredible porcelain bowls and platters for Jarvis Jansen. I noticed Simon is the other man who's carrying something.
He is indeed. Apparently, everywhere we go now, he's on this quest for these Art Deco vases. And he seems to buy these beautiful things that are signed. And the one he's got is actually really nice.
This is an absolutely beautiful antique store. I think coming here is as much a joy to see the place as it is the objects inside. Oh, and immediately all the chatelains are clustered around a marble fireplace, wondering where it could go. There's this gorgeous courtyard. The shop's just on this side. I can't tell you how much I love this shop. My friend John introduced me to it a couple of years ago, and whenever we're in this town, we try and pop in. There are so many beautiful things. It's like walking into a lovely chateau in miniature. Can you imagine a more glamorous dressing table to get ready at in the morning? Because I don't think I can. The marquetry is exquisite. The checkerboard effect with all those tiny little quatrefoils in. And then the central medallion with a huge basket of flowers, and a little sprig of flowers has just fallen from it onto the table. For more studious moments, there's this draftsman's table, so you could sit here and make the most perfect drawings. There's an entire book press for anyone thinking that bookbinding might be in their future. And anyone who buys this console will, of course, not only need the console, they'll need the Italian palazzo to put it in as well. So it could turn out to be a really expensive buy, that one. I love that lampshade, and I love the painting behind it. I love the mixture of mid-century art with antiques. I think it's one of the prettiest mixtures. It lightens everything. Isn't that the most delightful light? A very patriotic hot air balloon. Philip's fallen in love with this demi-lune console. It's 18th century. There was a fashion in the 18th century for repeating motifs like this in the marquetry, and I find it extremely elegant. This feels quite useful. If you think about it, it would make a quite lovely bar in a room. You could put some decanters on top and your glasses and bottles underneath. That's really pretty, very elegant. But my favourite thing in the entire shop is this 18th century beauty. For a start, I love terracotta busts. I just find them so soft and gentle, and everything about the carving here is exquisite. She's very beautiful, but it's the drapery, the roses, the lace, the ribbon and her hairstyle that I'm really drawn to. That delicate rose just in her corsage, and the lace peeping quite naughtily out from underneath her shawl. One false move and I think she's going to expose a little more than she intended to. And the little knot in the ribbon just behind her neck. So beautifully done. She is so elegant, so serene. I might actually ask how much she is. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we've bought the bust. I'd fallen completely in love with her. He's done a great price for us, and she will be in the Grand Salon when it's finished. So we'll put her aside for now and know that when the Grand Salon is finally finished, because I have to keep believing, then the finishing touch will be when we bring her in and put her in place, and I can't wait to see her in it. She will be presiding over all of our cocktail parties, quiet afternoons reading, sundowners watching the sunset through the big windows onto the terrace. She'll be there for all of that, watching over us. Well, we were just leaving when I saw this desk, which is, of course, completely wrong for Lalande. But for anyone out there who has a beautiful Art Deco villa, can you just imagine? Mind you, it might be dangerous to sit at this desk because you are quite likely to be murdered, and Poirot will have to come and solve the crime whilst all of your guests are stuck for the weekend in your incredible home. And it's not only the desk. It comes with this wonderful cabinet to store all of your papers. I mean, I find it incredibly elegant. We were a bit sad. We thought we wouldn't be able to find a restaurant, and we ended up in the Lebanese restaurant, and it's turned out to be the best thing that could have happened.
Best decision we could have made.
So I'm maybe not showing you a traditional French meal, showing you a Lebanese meal. That's just my starter. We've all eaten so much that most people have gone back to the chateau for an afternoon nap, but there are 3 of us still shopping like crazy. It's me, Philip, and of course, Vivienne. And we've come to this shop, which is owned by Sylvain's wife. And just on the way in, I've already spotted something marvellous. This is actually a 3-part screen. You can only see 2 of the parts here. 18th century. What gorgeous fabric in it. This is Sylvain, who owns the shop that we just went to, the beautiful antique store, and this is his wife's store. Alors c'est votre femme qui a ce magasin.
C'est ma femme qui a ouvert cette boutique l'an dernier en décembre. Moi, j'ai décoré un peu le fond de la boutique.
Oui.
Avec quelque chose que Sandra a choisi dans mon magasin. Et après, c'est son interprétation de présenter les choses et d'amener un peu sa carterie, les coussins, en fait, sa façon féminine de présenter les choses.
Ah, c'est vraiment joli. J'aime beaucoup, et les coussins sont bons en plus.
Je suis ravi que ça vous plaise.
The consoles are gorgeous.
The consoles are incredible. They're a pair.
Ils sont très sympas.
Oh, je les aime beaucoup. Très jolis.
Ils sont très très jolis.
C'est quelque chose d'introuvable en paix.
Oui.
Merci, c'est trouvable.
Ils sont
Oui, ce qu'on a ici.
That's William Morris fabric. Such a pretty cushion.
Si ça vous fait plaisir, je suis ravi.
Je lui ai acheté ça quand j'étais au Portugal. Celui-là, voilà, c'est le même. So now you can get things to match it. Look at the jug. Wow.
And look at this. This is the perfect autumnal place setting, isn't it? The leaves are actually changing.
I like this one.
You need to get this for Thanksgiving.
This here.
There we go. Philip needs more porcelain for Thanksgiving. Actually.
Oh no, they're
yes.
gorgeous. Come
Oh,
on.
Philip.
Adorable.
And the fox as well. They have the most adorable Christmas paper napkins. That's a very festive squirrel if I ever saw one. There's beautiful envelopes and writing paper. Look at these. I mean, that's so romantic. Imagine receiving that as a letter. Such beautiful papers, and all of these are stickers.
Love them all.
I think Natty would love this. Natty's big on stickers. Hiding behind the pheasant, there is a beautiful cheval mirror. See, it's got little legs there, so it just stands up in a room. It opens completely here. Inside there's another door that opens this way, and it does a triptych mirror so that you can check all angles of the outfit before going out. Have I got the flare just right? That is fabulous. These are made by someone locally. Philip obviously made a beeline for them because they're little brooches. I mean, the robin is adorable for Christmas. The big robin too, actually, the blue tit. You two always buy the fine jewellery.
I know. I can't resist.
For the season.
But actually look for the tree as well.
Little pig.
Oh, for the tree. Actually, we might need these for the tree.
You get the decorators. Oh, they're darling. And a squirrel.
Aren't they cute?
Very.
We made this, s'il vous plaît.
Christmas has come early to Philip.
Of course I got him the mouse.
It's darling.
You're welcome.
Our creature tree just leveled up. We've moved from looking at beautiful things in shops to now seeing them in museums, because this is the Museum of Issoudun. It was a hospice founded in the 12th century, and it's now been turned into the Issoudun Museum, and it is completely free to visit. It's a beautiful 17th century building with what I find is an incredibly successful contemporary addition for the museum. And I love the fact that on the way to go into the museum, you pass what's a nod to a 17th century apothecary garden, which is presumably exactly the sort of garden that they would have needed to have by a hospice. This is the way in, and the very first thing you see is the most beautiful staircase. Let's go up and see what we discover at the top. The very first thing we're greeted with is a statue of Saint Roch, and that makes absolute sense in a hospice because Saint Roch is the patron saint of plague sufferers. You can see him here. He's lifting up his robe and revealing his plague sore, and at his foot there's a little dog because as he was dying of plague, a dog brought him bread and kept him alive, and he became the patron saint of plague sufferers. He's also actually the patron saint of our village, Crozon-sur-Vouvre, so a saint who's quite close to my heart. The very first piece of furniture in the museum is a cylindrical desk from the 1780s, and I was drawn to it because it reminds me of the commode that I showed you in Sylvain's antique shop. It's got the same sort of background repeating pattern that was so popular at the time. But in this case, there's also a central medallion with these gorgeous sprigs of flowers. And what's amazing is that here you're seeing some of the original colour. They were very, very colourful when they were first made, but because they faded over time, we don't see the original colours. But you can see that it would probably have been blue or green in the centre. The museum has the oldest signed and dated harpsichord in any of the public French collections. It's signed and dated 1648. Never mind how old it is. It's how beautiful it is that absolutely enraptures us. The exterior of the harpsichord shows the portrait of a woman with a fashionable 17th century hairstyle. And there's also the portrait of a man looking rather like a Roman Caesar with a crown of laurels. There was an elaborate monogram, and above it would have been a crown, possibly erased during the French Revolution. Philip's just spotted that it's interlocked L's, probably for Louis, but, you know, some might say for Lalande.
This came from Lalande.
Oh, it needs to go home.
Exactly.
And on the very front is an allegory of victory. As you open the harpsichord, the very first thing you would have seen, the trophies representing music. You can see there's bagpipes, a violin, a recorder, a tambourine, and sheets of music. The decoration in the interior of the harpsichord has much more religious significance than the exterior. The parrot represents the coming of Christ, the red roses represent the drops of blood from the crucifixion, and the tulip is a representation of divine love. So when you put aside the glories of the world and the glories of music, and you get to the heart of music itself, and you start to play, it's divine love that's shining through. It is just the most gorgeous harpsichord. And these coins date from the 11th century. So 1,000-year-old coins from this region of France. But if you thought that money was old, this necklace dates from the 4th century before Christ. So we are looking at a 2,500-year-old necklace. And here is the head of a Roman divinity. And if you're wondering, where would this head have come from? How did it end up in this museum? Well, it was found in one of the streets of this very town. That's how old this town is. This was the original room of the hospice. Both the sick and the poor could come here, men and women, and they would all have been sleeping in this huge room. They would have been kept warm by the huge fireplace. But I think that the most touching thing in this room is actually the window in front of us, because that window was open to look straight through to the chapel, so that people who were too sick to be able to go to Mass in that chapel would be able to still watch it from their beds. This is one of the masterpieces of this museum. This is known as a tree of Jesse, and the two that are in here are classified as historical monuments. In the book of Isaiah, it says, "A shoot shall come out from the stump of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out from its roots." And here we have a very literal representation of that. Jesse is shown asleep beneath the trees on both sides. He is the only person who is shown in both of the genealogical trees because, of course, he is the root of them both. And in this one, you see his son, David, who can be identified with certainty because of his lyre. Along the branches as they go up are various kings and prophets. Moses is the first of the prophets to be seen. You can see that he is carrying the tablets of the commandment. And at the very base of his robe, you can see his name. And near the top, usually you see the Virgin Mary just below Jesus. And you can see from the very top along the cornice that in fact the entire sculpture would have been polychrome. The whole thing would have been multicolored in the most gorgeous hues. Within the frieze, you don't notice it at first, there are tiny little people as well. The difference in the clothes also tells us a lot about medieval life. From about the 13th century, hats became the most important way of symbolizing someone's rank. In fact, there's only one person shown here without a hat, and that's Moses himself. And that's probably to show the two little horns that you can just see starting in his forehead, symbols of divine strength. Here we have a prophet wearing a turban, which was a sign of strength and dignity. And the bigger the turban, the more powerful the man. And after the tree of Jesse, this is the next thing that this museum is most famous for. It's its entire 17th and 18th century apothecary. All of the painted pots were made in faience of Nevers. It's just extraordinary that they have them all still. What a jewel, and we would never have known if Sylvain, the antiques dealer, hadn't brought us here. That's such an unexpected day.
And it's free.
That's Saint-Roch.
Oh,
a very
my
modern
God.
version
I
of him.
saw that, and for a minute I thought
Oh my God.
I've rarely seen it quite so graphically done. You've lost me. As the cherry on the cake, Sylvain has brought us to see his storeroom before we go back to the chateau. It's amazing. So many treasures. So these are two 17th century Spanish chests. You see there's one on top of the other. Gorgeous pair with their original keys. I mean, it's amazing. You just need a few Renaissance paintings to put over the top, don't you? That's two 17th century Italian paintings.
yeah, Italian.
They're stunning. Alors c'est ici que se passe toute la magie.
Toute la magie.
Wow. Oh my God.
Oh, chauffage moderne.
Alors, cette cuisinière a appartenu à quelqu'un qui était l'amant de Joséphine Baker.
Non. Alors une cuisinière avec de l'histoire.
Ah oui, c'est ça qui est important. Alors, belle histoire. Quand j'achète ça, je dis, ce coffret contient quelque chose. Alors, il y a des secrets partout et je trouve 2 pièces d'or.
Non.
Si.
No.
Philip and Vivian are very excited because there's a set of 4 wall lights.
Ces produits, c'est quoi?
C'est eau japonaise.
Eau japonaise.
Ah, regarde.
Oh, Japanese.
Oui, c'est beau.
Japanese
Regarde
water.
là.
Do you know about Japanese water?
No, never
I
heard
don't
about
either.
Japanese water.
I feel like I need Japanese water.
Donc là,
Everything.
lundi, je dois faire tout ça.
Poor Simon.
I need Japanese water, Simon.
Philip's fallen in love with the sofa. It seems to need just a bit of work, Philip. Something missing. Can't put my finger on it. I think it's fine. It is stunning. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And some hot glue.
The Chatelain's answer to everything. We're leaving now and heading back to the chateau, but I have something to tell you before we go. That sofa with a few bits missing, that's going to be coming to Lalande. It will be the sofa for the Grand Salon. So the Grand Salon has really come ahead leaps and bounds today, though sadly the sofa needs as much work as the Grand Salon itself does. Merci pour une journée incroyable, merveilleuse.
Écoutez, je suis ravi que ça vous ait plu. Je peux dire une chose, c'était une belle surprise pour moi.
Et pour nous aussi,
Merci pour tout.
À la prochaine.
et pour notre Grand Salon.
Merci.
What a day of antiques and culture. And then we walk into this beautiful place and see more beautiful antiques. Oh, we've just got back to our stunningly beautiful room in Chateau de Colombe. I think it's been the perfect day. Looking at stunning antiques ranging from the absolutely exquisite to the incredibly affordable, all of which were lovely. And then we get to come home to this. So if anyone loves antiquing or chateaus, there's no better place to come and stay, is there? That town's half an hour from here.
Less than that.
I'll put all of the details in the description box below if anyone wants to come and stay with Patrick and Stuart.
Treasure trove.
It is. I love everything about this. And now I'm going to get changed and ready for dinner and say good night to all of you. And tomorrow I will see you back at Lalande. Lots and lots of love to all of you. See you tomorrow.